Okay, you're the captain of this boat. What do you do? I'll even give you a couple choices. 1, jump overboard and save yourself. There's no hope for the boat, every man for himself. 2, call Mayday on the radio and wait for help to arrive. 3, drop the anchor and kedge the boat off the reef. 4, deploy the life raft and have everybody get in there. Do me a favor, pause the video right now and comment below and let me know what you think. Here's the same boat, 20 minutes later. Everyone is safely off the boat. Now what do you do? I'll give you some more multiple choice questions. 1, get on the VHF radio and ask for any boats in the area to come to your assistance. 2, get the anchor out and kedge the boat off the reef. 3, get off the boat, relax, let the adrenaline wear off, come back to the boat the next day when you have a clear mind. If you chose number 3, here's the boat 24 hours later. This is the true story of sailing vessel Centurion, and luckily nobody was hurt. But this boat could have absolutely been saved. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what to do if you ever find yourself in this situation. First, I'll explain the techniques that you can use, and second, we're going to have a live demonstration of exactly how to pull this off. By the end of this video, you'll understand one of the most important techniques for a cruising sailor to have. Disclaimer, this can be a very dangerous technique. It's up to the individual captains to assess the situation and determine what's best for the safety of the crew. In every situation, that is paramount. Boats can be replaced. In my experience, there's only 2 types of sailors in this world that have never run aground. Those who have never left port, and the others, well, they're atrocious liars. Even the famed sailor Bernard Moitessier wrecked 3 boats in his career. Maybe the mooring broke one night and you wake up and you're on the reef. Maybe a storm blew you off course. Maybe you're way out there in some part of the world that's not super well charted and you think you're fine on the digital charts, but in actuality, you're up on the rocks. Whatever the reason, this isn't about blame. This is about what you do right when you realize that your boat is aground. The technique is called kedging. Kedging is the process of using the anchor to free yourself from a grounding, to get your boat back to floating water. It's a technique that's been used for centuries by sailors in distress, and actually, with the advent of the motor, it's kind of a lost art. Not a lot of people know it anymore. But it's something that you absolutely must know as a cruiser, because help isn't always a VHF call away. And more importantly, sometimes it's a race against the clock to get your boat out of harm's way and back floating. You don't have forever. So what is the technique? I'm going to walk you through it step by step. As soon as you feel your boat aground, if you can, you're going to get the anchor off the boat, either into a dinghy or into the water. And you're going to take that anchor, ideally, as far from the boat as possible in deeper water. It's important, this deeper water part, because you don't want to kedge the boat parallel to the reef. You want to go back out where the water's deep enough for the boat to be floating. That's the whole point. And the farther you get the anchor out away from the boat, the better, because then you'll have more leverage to pull the boat free. Once you have the anchor out and you're back on the boat, you're going to pick a point to pull the boat off. Now, this is a little bit of a gray area because it just depends on the situation as to if you want to pull yourself out backwards or if you want to pull yourself out forwards. If you're pulling yourself out forwards, you can usually use the windlass. If you're pulling yourself out backwards, you need to put the rope or chain onto the winches. And before you ask, yes, absolutely, you can put chain on winches. You just can't put it in the tailer. You have to have somebody tailing it for you, or you have to tail it while you're winching it. So here's the trick of the whole thing. Use your windlass or your winches very slowly. Tighten up the catenary from the anchor. The anchor has a catenary. That's the angle that it goes down. You're going to tighten that until it's straight. Now, this is going to sound crazy with your boat because as the waves come in and they push your boat up, it's going to tighten on that thing and it's going to go boom. And then your front end or your back end of your boat's going to whip around and it's going to be hard on your boat. But this is how this works. As you tighten it, the wave is now floating the boat a little bit and the boat will start skipping across the bottom like this. You tighten it up a little bit. As soon as the wave comes in, boom. Another wave comes in, boom. The key here is steady, controlled tautness of that line or chain. You don't want to just smash the windlass button and try to use the windlass to pull the entire boat off the reef. The windlass is not strong enough. I don't care what windlass you have. It's not going to do that. You want to use the motion of the boat to skip the boat across the reef and then just pull in the slack. Same thing if you're using a winch in the back. You want to pull up the slack until you can't go anymore and then just wait. Have the person tailing, just hold it and wait. And as soon as the boat, boom, picks up, it'll move back, it'll skip back a little bit, and then pull in some more, and then pull in some more, and then pull in some more. That's the entire technique. Now, this technique can be very, very easy if there's no waves and there's not a lot of wind, or it can be ridiculously difficult and nightmarish if you're on a beach and you're getting pushed back up onto the beach by the waves, and the waves are, over 6 feet, and you have to go in the water and carry the anchor underwater to get the thing set because you can't put the dinghy in the water. Let's talk about some of these iterations of this technique, okay? So first, let's talk about some mistakes. So mistake number 1 is incorrect anchor placement. So if you don't get enough anchor out into the water, say it's only 50 feet from the boat and you have a 35-foot boat, the angle will be going down from the boat. It's not going to be going sideways enough. And you're not going to have the leverage required to take that boat off the reef. It's just not going to happen. You're going to be pulling the boat down instead of over. Number 2 is setting the anchor. When you get to where the anchor is going to be, it's always better to swim down there and make sure it's set into the dirt or into the mud or into the rocks or whatever. Set the anchor manually before you start kedging. It's not always possible. I understand that's not going to be possible for a lot of people to swim that down that far or to get in through the waves or to even get in the water. But if you can, that's always the better way. Or else what you're doing is you're taking 200 feet of line and then as the anchor's skipping across the bottom, you're losing all of that traction and then it finally catches on something, if it catches on something at all. The third most common mistake in kedging is rushing this process. You're going to have a lot of adrenaline. You're going to be freaking out. You're going to hear your boat underwater smashing against the rocks with every wave. It is going to be one of the situations that's most stressful in your entire life. And I'm going to be telling you in the back of your head, calm down. It'll be okay. You are not going to make this any better by freaking out. You got to chill. You got to make sure you get that anchor as far out as you can. That's your job, is to get that thing out until you're at the end. Drop it down, try to go down there and set it, and then start your kedging operation. Now, what happens if you reach the anchor and you're still on the reef or the rocks? You're still bouncing. You're not quite off yet. What do you do then? You use your secondary anchor, and you do the exact same thing. You tie all the lines on your whole boat if you don't have enough, but get it out there a couple hundred feet, drop it down in, set it, and then use both anchors. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now what happens if you take your anchor out, you get it, you even swim down there, you get it set, you got 250 feet of rode out, and it is just not moving the boat. You are hard up aground. You can use your crew for this. You can tell your crew to shift their weight from one side of the boat to the other to try to move the keel off of the bottom, because probably what's happening is the keel's probably stuck on something, a big rock or something like that. So even just the weight of the crew moving around may be able to dislodge the boat. Also, you can take another dinghy or people and take a line from the top of the mast. So take like the spinnaker halyard or something, and take it as far out as you can and have that other boat or the people on shore pulling on that halyard. And as they're pulling on it, they're moving the boat up and down. Now, obviously, this isn't going to work on a 100-ton boat, but if you have a little bit lighter boat, then this technique has helped a lot of sailors get off of the reef or get out of a grounding situation on sand where their keel is stuck in the sand. Also, this technique is used to get under bridges. Famously in Rio Dulce, they have two boats that take two halyards and they pull your boat over while you're driving at full speed, and they get you under a bridge and pop you back up. Most of the time, you are on a race against the clock to save your boat. The more you wait, the more the waves are going to push your boat up the reef. The reef is at an angle, and your boat is kind of moving up and moving up with every wave. At a certain point, you're going to be so hard aground that nothing you do is going to help with this technique. Then at that point, you're going to need some serious horsepower to get your boat drug off the beach, or a crane, or hopefully not a salvage. Okay, let's go to my boat, and we're going to get a fish's eye view of what happens during this process, during this kedging process, because my boat is on the hard. So uniquely, I can show you in the dry exactly how I do this. What's up, everybody? James here. This is my boat behind us, and today, since we are on the hard, I'm going to show you how to kedge off the beach. This could be from you falling asleep and sailing it up on the beach. This could be from a mooring breaking and your boat ending up on the beach. But the important thing to know here is that this skill could save your boat, and you only have a limited amount of time to take care of it. So let's go. All right, so first things first, take the pin out of the anchor, and then it's ready to go. Make sure you got power to your windlass, and this is all while your boat's like banging on the coral and on the reef, so it's gonna be super stressful for you. Don't worry about the boat, all right? There's nothing you can do at this point, you're stuck. What you can do is you can kedge off, so this is the only thing that matters. Well, the crew safety as well. All right, so now comes the fun part. So you're gonna get in the water. The boat's gonna be heeled over a little bit. You should be in like a foot or two less, maybe 3 feet less than what the boat draws. So the boat will be hanging over, the waves will be picking it up, and it'll be banging. Don't worry about that. Just don't get crushed by the thing. Get away from the boat. Walk over here, and if the anchor's underwater, you're gonna have to hold your breath, go get the anchor, and go walk it out. Either that or put it in the dinghy, okay? But you know, launching the dinghy takes time. If the dinghy's on your deck, this is a way faster way if you can do it. So you're over here, the water's up to here, you're treading water. Even in the dark, it's fine, just take the chain. You'll be right under the boat. Hold your breath, grab the anchor, and you're gonna walk underwater with the anchor, okay? Just like this. Okay, I need to breathe. I go back up. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to float in the same spot. It's dark, and I'm catch my breath, swim back down. Go back up, catch my breath. Do this as many times as you can. Your heart's gonna be pumping. You're not gonna be able to hold your breath very long. You're gonna be scared. You're gonna hear your boat very vividly underwater. Hear it smashing. Don't worry about that. Try to calm down. Calm down and breathe, okay? You're gonna save the boat. The boat is gonna handle it, but you only have a limited amount of time, okay? We're almost done. See how much anchor's left? Okay, so this is where I want to stick it in, but before I go up there, I'm gonna set the anchor. This is an important piece. You gotta make sure it sets, that way when you pull it up, the catenary is gonna come out of it and it's gonna pull hard. All right, so we're right here, we're under this rock, or it's probably not gonna be a branch, but like say there's a rock or there's some sand, you wanna bury that bitch in, okay? Now we're ready.
You shouldn't have that much weight on your windlass.
See, that's a great question, and that's the common misconception with how you kedge off. You're not using the windlass to kedge off. You're using the windlass to get the anchor tight and using the motor and the wave action, and you're just waiting. This is a waiting game. You're getting it as tight as you can. Here, look. It should be like this. Your anchor chain should be so tight that it's a straight line, right? And once it's there and you can't pull it up anymore, you just wait. And you keep your foot on the button, and then when the boat comes up in the wave and comes back down, it'll get a little closer because now it's pulling forward. And then the catenary will be in the chain. You'll see it. You'll see it going from straight to dipping down a little bit. And then you take up some slack. And then you take up some slack. What you don't want to do is burn your windlass out trying to use your windlass to get off. That's not what this is. You got the motor in forward, full, and you're using this. And you got someone at the wheel, that way they can throttle down when the thing comes off the beach, okay? Now we're gonna learn how to do it from the back end of the boat. This is something that I have done personally. Sucks. I hope you guys are appreciative of this. We need more anchor chain. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more chain. Yeah, this isn't enough. Let me go put some more out real quick. All right, we've got 250 feet of anchor chain out. It's all over the ground. Again, we're constrained by where we are. I can't have the anchor going over where these guys are working, okay? So we're gonna pretend like the anchor is over there. And now we're gonna bring the chain up to the winch. You can put chain in a winch. And if you're doing this on your boat, you're not gonna drop it from the front, get in the water and go walk it all the way back. You're gonna go over the boat. The reason I didn't wanna go over the boat should be apparent, but the teak decks would get messed up, okay? But who cares about that if the whole boat's gonna get lost, right? So take the anchor off, take it back, walk it back to the boat, throw it off the back, get in the water and walk it off the back, okay? Let's go upstairs and I'll show you how to put the anchor chain in a winch. Okay, so we got our chain. We want it to go out the back. We're probably gonna use one of the rear winches, but I'm gonna use this one for now, right? So you take your chain, and this is pretty self-explanatory. Take your chain, go around the winch, 1, 2, 3 times. And then this one, you can't put it in the self-tailer, okay? You gotta have someone tail it for you, which means you need someone to pull the chain while you winch the windlass, or winch. Okay, you get it? It's super, super easy. It will screw up the winch. It will scratch the shit out of it, but it's not gonna break it. These things are one of the strongest parts of the boat. If you have to use it, this is how you use it. It's way easier with 2 people, but human beings are surprisingly adaptable. Same theory here. Get it tight and just wait. Let the wave action pull the boat off. If there's no wave action, it's going to be very, very difficult. This is why I said you have a time limit for this. You can't wait until the boat's all the way on the beach. That doesn't work. It takes thousands of horsepower to pull a 20,000 pound boat off of, like, hard up on the ground on the beach. It takes a crane, really. If you're by yourself, this is going to be tricky. What I would do is I would lock the wheel in neutral and just have the engine in forward or reverse full. Just leave it, let it go. Let it be churning water. And then you'll do this. And you'll go tight, bump, tight, bump, tight. And if you need, you use your secondary anchor and do it again to the other side. Because if you're way up on the beach, and if it's a really flat beach, like say you're in Florida or Bahamas or something, you could be way far up. You need to move for like 1,000 feet to get floating again. You just keep doing it. 1 anchor, 1 anchor, 1 anchor, 1 anchor, 1 anchor. Okay? That's how you save your boat if you run it aground.